tonight I want to talk about something that some people say is going extinct, and that's the notion of class. Whether it be a greedy CEO or a celebrity cheating on his wife, a lot of us are left wondering, what happened to the class? But before we can get into that, we need to discover what this thing called class really is, and whether it's worth having in the first place. So, give a warm welcome to our panel tonight. Now, what I want to get started with is, can we think of someone in our own life that has a little bit of class? How about you, Matt? Anybody that's classy that you...
Yeah, my grandfather.
Okay.
Loving, kind.
Right.
Emotional, Things that now I look at that back then when I thought of class, when I was younger I never thought of, but now class is kind of a different thing to me, Just, he really helped me with emotions, dealing with my emotions, showing my emotions, not being afraid to cry, just things like that. Just an honest, loving man. And
totally.
That's class,
Absolutely. All right, how about you, Jess? Anyone come to mind? It's got a little class, a little style?
Yeah, you asked me that, Stuart, and at first I was thinking about a friend who looked classy on the outside, but then when I was thinking more about some personal characteristics, I don't know, not so sure. So I'm going to go ahead and say my mother.
Okay.
Because even though she, and bless her heart, she, doesn't always wear the heels and the dress and the lipstick, but she's just, she's honest, and she doesn't lose her cool. She does what she says she's going to do. She follows through. Just qualities that are, that I look up to and respect. She's living in this reality, she has a good head on her shoulders, and
awesome.
So I think that's classy.
That's a great example. Yeah, we're getting some good things here. Now, how about someone who doesn't have class? I was in a restaurant the other day, and there was this couple of young guys with their iPhones out watching YouTube videos on full blast in a quiet section with like 2 or 3 tables packed right around them. It was like having a freaking VCR playing, you know what I mean? And I thought to myself, that's one of the things that inspired this conversation. I was like, there's no class in that, you know what I mean? Does anything come to mind that you've seen or that happens from time to time where you're like, come on, where's the class?
Well, I see it all the time. Yeah, I work at a restaurant. Yeah. I see it on the streets, I see it in grocery stores, it's just...
like a lack of like a lack of regard for other people, and this kind of disconnect, like a selfishness maybe at the root is maybe a lack of class, when people are just too self-absorbed, and also with the risk of making judgments. Also, it's tough, but the self-absorption, and unfortunately I think our culture is really filled with this. Our generation even, and the generations that are coming on after us, with everybody's texting, everybody's on their little handheld devices, you're in your own world, and you're just not, it's tunnel vision, you're not thinking about other people.
And I actually think that technology that we have now brings us closer to one another because we have so much more knowledge.
It's true.
There's so much more out there, and the possibilities are just huge. And you could take it to a negative place, but the positive, I think, vastly outweighs that, honestly. I really think that.
Fair enough. Now, let me take this to a little bit different place. Some people don't have class. Are they any worse off? What do you think? Yeah. Sometimes you can make a little more money by being a little dishonest. Money's power. So, the question is it really worth having class? What is there to gain from being classy, from having class, from being honest, being considerate for other people, being hardworking, being cool under pressure, being humble, being authentic, right? Are these just like cheesy qualities that like died out with the old people as they should? Or do they add to life?
Well, I'm going to say that it's definitely worth it to have class because, it just makes us better, like well-rounded people. And I think that there's enough people out there that are lacking, and maybe just don't care. Like, these qualities they don't matter. Being honest and hardworking, there are people that would rather rob a bank or pillage a house or something, and maybe they don't have very much conscience, I don't know.
Right.
But, when these qualities die out, our species is just...
Toast, right?
Toast, totally toast.
So let me make the distinction between two things. It's definitely better for society if everyone's got class, but that still leaves it open for someone to say, yeah, but I'll be the guy who doesn't have class. I'll be the guy who cheats, and I'll win the world.
Yeah.
Right?
There'll always be this
Well,
guy.
you're the one. You have to be with yourself at the end anyway. When at the end of the day, you're
That
the
is
only
true.
one that knows. You know.
That is true. Have you guys ever had a moment where you felt bad at the end of the day? Have you guys ever had a moment where you did something and realized, oh, I don't know about that?
Sure.
Yeah?
But hopefully it's that realization, you know, hopefully you make a mistake, you know, but you realize it.
You own
and
it,
I
you
think
know?
you own it and you say, I'm going to be a better person and I'm not going to do that again. Or you just, you know, you recognize it.
But why did you make that decision? Because it sounds like you have. Why did you decide, you know what, it's not worth it. I'm not doing that. Why?
You mean which decision?
Well,
Sorry.
say you know you went out and did something that you weren't proud of,
Right,
or
right.
something you
Oh,
felt bad about
right.
afterward, and you were just saying a second ago that you learned from it.
So why did you?
Yeah. What do you mean you learned from it? Why?
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, maybe it's a good question.
Why don't you do it again?
It makes you feel bad, maybe just intrinsically, like innately. You listen to yourself on that like heart level, soul level, and hopefully there's like a disconnect, you know, and maybe that's the conscience.
Absolutely.
Maybe some people are lacking that, and so they won't feel that at the end of the day, and they'll be able to sleep just fine.
I don't believe that there are people that don't have conscience. I don't believe that. I think that there are lucky people in the world that have had the opportunity with family, friends, or technology, or whatever, to learn, you know, good examples of honesty and other things like that, confidence and whatnot. And I think that the classy thing to do then is for those people, I'm sure all of us, all of you, to demonstrate to the people who maybe don't understand that yet. But I don't think there is such a thing as not having a conscience. I think that's human to have that.
Yeah, I've often thought that myself. I've often worried about that. But you know what comes to my mind is when I have an image of someone who's classy to me in my mind, and for me, who comes to mind is Robert Kennedy. Do you guys ever see that movie Bobby? That was like a story of JFK's brother, who was a senator. At the end of that movie, there was like the most amazing collage of like 10 minutes of footage of this guy. He was so passionate and so humble and such a beautiful person. And you know what? He just glowed. There's this radiance about him. And you can just imagine what it would feel like to be inside that. To be inside that classy person, to be inside that being. I just think that I know that from my own experience, when I do something that I'm really proud of, I feel awesome, you know? And when I'm at work, when there's that decision between being lazy and just doing it because, you know what, I'm the kind of person who's going to do it right, that just feel it's its own reward. And so I don't know, I mean, maybe class is its own reward.
Absolutely. That's good.
Doing the right thing.
Cool. All right, well, thank you very much for coming out.
Shame gets in the way. Choices